to the next presentation session before we break for lunch. Please also use Slido to submit any audience questions using the hashtag Capacity Europe. The next session taking place is presentation, Keeping Ukrainian Internet Running. We just want to say a big thank you to our session sponsor for this one, Retin, for their support. And the next session for this one is going to be delivered by Elena Luksenko, Managing Director of Retin Ukraine and the Director of the Black Sea region for Retin. So if you can give Elena a warm round of applause as she takes to the stage.
Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Elena Lutsenko. I come from Kyiv, Ukraine. I really appreciate to be here today and discuss very important topic, how we keep Ukrainian internet running during the real war. Firstly, I'd like to make a short introduction to Ukrainian telecommunication market, what it was before the war. This is data from the official report of the National Commissions of Telco Regulations. And yes, for the December of 2021, in register we have 2,781 ISP. And ARPU was less €5 per 100 broadband internet. And total revenue, including the mobile operator data, it's around 221 million of euro. I can say that it's very competitive and active market. And for example, in 2021, 20,000 kilometers was built as part of the Digital Ministry of Ukraine subventions. And now you can see that it's 90% of the rural householders with the fiber connection already. Why is so active and crowded market? Because firstly we have the infrastructure operator. Looks like that as Telecom, they didn't provide any telecommunication services, just infrastructure. And also internet access providing will never under licensing and government control. Also a lot of backbone other operators has their own cables through the Ukraine. It's our strong part. So, Retin was started to build own network in region in 2007. Right now, it's 6,000 kilometers lead fiber and 42 on-net building presence. I can say you that it's a fully diverse network in our country. And, for example, in the biggest city, look like Kharkiv, Odessa, Kyiv, Retin has a minimum 2 DVDM nodes without any failure points. Currently, Retin is a carrier for more than 15% of the traffic from Ukraine to West Europe. And it was before the war. I remember at 6 in the morning on the 24th of February, most of my friends were staying in the traffic jam trying to go away from Kyiv. I was staying at home and just observe how it's growing traffic at 6 in the morning. Of course, we had the calls with our local team, with the board, with the technical people. We created the emergency connections scheme, and I understood that I need to do something. I've started from the matrix of problems, risk matrix. And, you know, it was very typical problems, what we have typically for backbone operators. Looks like, yes, fiber cuts and lack of capacity, rerouting of IP connectivity, power and electricity on each POPs. You never know what has happened. Network security. It was one of the interesting research for Ukrainian market also. Warehouse and equipment and physical access to the each POP. You know, we didn't expertise any new problems, but the issues were multiplicative, so simultaneous and difficult to address given the changes environment. So, interesting facts about the IP connectivity. At 7 in the morning, we have never seen it before and never seen again, I hope. It was a peak of usage traffic by the day. Also, it's a weak concentration for the first week and migration people to west part of Ukraine. It means that we need to be ready to provide this IP transit connectivity as well. What is interesting in yet, Telegram is the main messenger and news platform for Ukrainian people. And for the first months, also it was some interesting experience because our national manager center make the degree for the blocking 642 autonomous system from the Russia. During active hostilities, the recovery time couldn't be planned and prognosed. For instance, on the 22nd of February, the one fiber which is going through Irpin, its key region, I'm sure that everyone knows where this small city based right now, it was cut. And we have the just possibility, our partner, to restore it only after 50 days, where the Russian troops withdraw. This is data about our Ministry of Digitalization, that 22% of the fiber networks were fully destroyed or damaged. And of course, from the first days of the war, we started to look in for the new capacity and new physical fiber routes from other companies who are present in Ukraine. And yes, we compete with them before the war. Also, was very important thing that we have international team, and for example, it's not only connected everything to Ukraine. We quickly, extremely quickly, found the new capacity between Chisinau and Bucharest. It's not Ukraine, but it was the main route some days for the protecting south our region, as Mykolaiv and Odessa as well. Also, what is interesting, in July 2022, Retin built a new DVDM route which is connected south without Kiev. It's additional protection for Odessa region, of course, for the south of Ukraine, and also additional new DVDM routes from Kiev to west side of Europe. Yes, you can make correctly, Retin continue investments to Ukraine during the war. The next one is boring, but very important. And the majors of power supply lines and restoration, we also was serious challenge. 76 hours, the maximum time, what is the battery working on the amplifier nodes in one of these. Looking ahead, I can say you that it's not always possibility to start diesel generator or the presence full on the sides, because firstly, it's a very big, high, dangerous for people life. By the way, it's statistics of our special services communication and information protection of Ukraine. It's just the statistic for the first half of the year about the cyber attacks. It was happened from the Ukrainian telecom industry because it's an integral part of the military operations, both in physical and information field. The reason for these weaknesses of some Ukrainian telecommunication network were very banal. People ignoring some very basic rules of the information security, forget to change passwords in correct time and do it due to some requirements. And of course, it's cost cutting for the anti-DDoS protection, what was seriously a challenge for our banking infrastructure. In fact, the correct policy of some data center is very important to keep Ukrainian internet running. I couldn't share the most details, but I can say you that people were living in some sites during the weeks without any breaks. Just think about it. Explosions and air rule alarms happen so often that for first days, nobody slept. Your work, and at the same time, your wife and children independently trying to create the new life in bomb shelter. It's typical Soviet Union time, and it's real story. A family of our Ukrainian technical director was living in this bomb shelter with a limited space with the other people for 60 days with children, without any go away, just for the keeping life secure. As you understand, in case of a power outages, explosion, it's extremely important to have enough capacity and be sure that your nodes work correctly. We are planning to finalize the custom clearance of the new two Juniper MX10K8 on the 24th of February, but unfortunately we were able to do it only on the 17th of April due to the active situation in Kiev. Yes, you can hear me correctly. We're not only working with our competitors before the war for the getting more capacity, install new DVDM, we also updated our nodes for the bigger capacity and be ready for the next stage. I also would like to share with you some details about the project. I'm sure that you know Keep Ukraine Connected by NOC Alliance. They already provided transceivers, switches, routers, more than $1 million for local providers as a free. And I can say that it's very important to keep these activities and because war is still going and now it's a very bad situation in Ukraine again. I think it's time to speak about some conclusions, and I have the 5 tips for the future for important for everyone. Doesn't matter that it's war or not, but information security of network is more important than we typically seen before. Your competitors is your new partner. Investments into new routes equals the network protections. Spares manager, you need to have enough equipment to overcome all unforeseen delays. And yeah, the importance of looking after your staff who will look after you. The most difficult decision was just make it everything what is connected to people life. I can say the network is people. And next, my slides will be about how is real works looks in the field. It's a new photo, how is our supplier and Atracom, I already mentioned this company, working for the restore and rebuild the fiber networks in Kharkiv region after occupation. It's the occupied territory. They're working with the military guys. You know, the head of Kharkiv laboratory said me a few months ago, it's most difficult when you start the fiber splicing optic, and this is in this time bombing is coming. You're just trying to find some safety place. It's not always bomb shelter available. You see, in the field, they don't have. After this, you come back, trying to splice again. You never know when and where it will be start or the end. Yeah, it's about how it looks nodes in the some Kharkiv region. Izum, it was nice and big city, and Starobielsk also. This is a big town was creates a problem for the restoration of the fiber here. Yeah, it's still. Also, I'd like to show you the picture for the small ISP operator. He's not our customer, but they do it each day without any weekends, without any breaks. They just restore everything. Sometimes they are sleeping in the node for be ready to start diesel generator if it will be problem with electricity. And the main problem for them is difficulties because they have only 10 people out of 44 before the war. I'm sure that you can check the economic issues, with the Ukrainian, and not only, it's also the routine work for one of our competitor before the war for the local market is Data Group and Vola, and they are our also customer and right now supplier for the SAM protection. People are working each day, and currently they have backbone operator and the supplier for the more than 1 million of home holders subscribers. And yes, what else I can say is that we don't have any more competitors in Ukraine. We have the partners, and yes, only together we can keep internet working everywhere and always. Thank you.
I just want to say a big thank you to Elena Luksenko there for coming here to London to talk about this as well. And I wish her and the rest of the team their wellness and their safety in what is extraordinarily troubling times in the country, as she's described there. We'll be breaking for lunch for this, and lunch will be served